First time in a long time, but back like I never left. Taking each day as it comes, you know me, I don't read ahead. Watch me burn down everything, BDE on the TV set. When I'm in control on the road, you could never really know what's up next.
Hello, hello, hello. The reanimated corpse of Davie Portman here, live on postwrestling.com, youtube.com/postwrestling. This is Up Next. This is your NXT Post Show, and I am here live, not this week with Braden Harrington, but the co-host of What Up Doe on the Poisonrana feed, Mr. B Detroit. B, how you doing?
What up, though, Davie? I'm still recovering from the trip to Forbidden Pour. Actually, too, my voice is a little bit shot still. It's like at a 75% right now, so it's getting better. It's getting better. How are you?
Yeah, like my voice is completely shot. I'm exhausted, to be honest. But it was such a fantastic weekend. Had such a great time. Thank you to everyone who made it to Real Sports in Toronto for the Forbidden Pour, post wrestling with Poisonrana. What a fantastic weekend it was. What a great day it was on Sunday. We were just had such a great Q&A with John and Way at the beginning there. Played some trivia games, which was a hell of a lot of fun. Got to hang out with all you guys and then went to see one of the best wrestling events I've ever been to. And if I wasn't screaming enough at that, Omega kicking out at 1 after the One-Winged Angel, well, I then well and truly destroyed my voice at wrestling karaoke back at the Forbidden Pour. What a hell of a day that was, B.
Absolutely. Seeing one of probably the best matches I've ever seen live in the same day, and I think that's the reason why I don't have a voice right now. But also, you can definitely blame it on Forbidden Pour, doing a little John Cena karaoke and screaming for everybody else doing their songs and singing along with them. It's been a weekend, man. It's been a weekend. It's had so much fun hanging out with the guys from BSK and all the fans and listeners who came up and actually said they listened to the show. It was crazy to even hear people say they listened to me and enjoyed and was a fan of my commentary or anything. But thanks to everybody who came up and said anything. Thank you guys for having me too, Davie, man. Every time we get together, it's like the city's on fire. So it's always a great time.
Oh, it was so much fun. I can't believe I'm going to Dynamite tomorrow and then Demand Lucha on Thursday. I really don't know if I've got it in me, but I'm going to try and rally. I think I've probably aged about 10 years in the last few days. But what were some of your highlights from the weekend?
I would say Collision, actually, even though we all waited last minute to buy tickets to the show. Just getting in there and being with you guys for the first night and seeing wrestling again, that was absolutely crazy. Seeing you guys camera side the entire show, having your spats with CM Punk, that was great, man.
Well, keep an eye out for us tomorrow because I think we've got kind of similar seats for Dynamite tomorrow, so should be pretty fun. But yeah, it was great. I gotta say, we're gonna start posting all these pictures that Whiskey Bry, who was a massive help for this event, he kind of hooked us up with Suntory Whiskey, who helped us make these fantastic cocktails, the Rainmakers, which seemed very popular on the day.
It was a smash hit, yeah.
Very nice, as well as the Judas Effect. That was great, and he's taken some incredible photos that we'll be posting on all our socials that you can check out. But my highlight has to be whatever his name is, whatever that beautiful man's name was who sung Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting in a lucha mask for Forbidden Pour. That was so much fun.
Absolutely.
But yeah, we're gonna have to recover from this, but I'm looking forward to doing it all again very, very soon. So yeah, thank you again for everyone who came. It was such a trip. But B, what else is going on? Maybe for listeners who are maybe unfamiliar with you, who is B Detroit and what do you do for the Poisonrana community?
Well, me and John Siino host a podcast called What Up, Though? We're going to be recording a new episode this week. You'll hear a lot of the BSK house and when the happenings in Toronto from us two guys and our experiences, and talk about some of the wrestling that we've seen live. Hopefully get a more deeper talk about with me and Siino about the pay-per-view from Forbidden Door, because we didn't sit together. I sat with Dan, one of the BSK members. I sat with him, and so I didn't really get to hear Siino's takes on the whole event yet. So I'm curious to hear what he thought about the whole show.
I love listening to you two guys. It's something Braden and I are quite proud about, because I think you two have just awesome chemistry. And even though like you talk about a lot of subjects that I don't really know a whole lot about, e.g. hip hop, but I just love listening to you guys talk to each other. And I know I've heard a lot of other people say that as well. Like and Neil, who we got to hang out with all weekend. Hope he's made it safely back home to Ireland. I know he's a big fan of you guys as well. So check it out. We do have our own network called Poisonrana. It's absolutely free to check out. Just search in your podcast app. And we have so many shows like Braden and our thoughts on Forbidden Door, which we posted yesterday. As you said, we'll have a brand new What Up Doe coming up soon, as well as on our Patreon, patreon.com/Poisonrana. A whole load of shows to look forward to, including this week, we are doing a review of Vengeance 2006. Yes, everyone, it is Money in the Bank season. So what better time to talk about Vengeance from 2006? We did a best match ever Sabu pretty recently. And kind of during that discussion, it came up his match against Cena at this very pay-per-view. So we were thinking of doing an old Money in the Bank pay-per-view, but we put it to the vote. And this one got chosen instead. I think we've got Kane versus Kane on this show. It looks wild. So can't wait to talk about that. That'll be dropping this Friday on the Poisonrana Patreon. And then we've got so much in the back catalogue. We do a show called Best Match Ever, where we look at the best matches of people's careers or best matches of a certain match stipulation. We've got so many of that in the back catalogue for you to check out, as well as our show Was Next, where we look back at classic NXT. We started way back in 2012, I believe. We've made it through to 2014. And just like we're going to be doing today, we're talking about Baron Corbin. So as things change, things stay the same, but always really enjoy that show. And then we've got all our movie reviews coming up as well. We'll be talking about Midsummer next week with our patron, Chris Leone, as well as all these old pay-per-view reviews you can find and stuff. So go to patreon.com/Poisonrana. Only $5 and gets you over like 400 shows at this point. So much for you to listen to. But I believe some people, as of maybe right now, unless you're maybe in New Zealand like Dickie Bird, are going to be spending most of this night playing Fight Forever.
Yeah. I actually didn't get the deluxe edition, so I can't play it tonight. I wish I could. It looks really, really fun. I can't wait to get my hands on this game. What do you are you guys planning on grabbing it too?
I think we will. We'll probably download it over the weekend or something. It's been a bit of a crazy week. But yeah, absolutely plan on playing this game. Early reviews, it actually have been pretty positive from what I've heard. Like I hear it's really pretty fun game to pick up and play. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But I've barely played 2K23 so far.
I've barely like really got into it, but when I do play it, it's a couple hours. So but I do represent like the game. It's a really good 2K game. If you like the 2K22, it's just a rehash of that, just polished and prepped up a little bit more. So it's really, really good as a simulation. But Fight Forever looks like just a pickup arcade. Beat them up, get your friends all bloody, run through the stadium, stampede and stuff. Exploding barbed wire death matches in a video game in 2023. Like, who thought we would have this? I can't wait to get my hands on it.
Yeah, so hopefully maybe I'll have it in time to do some early thoughts on our Poisonrana show this Sunday. I'll be joined again by Braden Harrington, youtube.com/@PoisonranaPod. We'll be giving all our thoughts of this week in wrestling, we'll be giving our live account of Dynamite. We'll be giving our thoughts on Demand Lucha, which is happening in the city this Thursday with that crazy main event. Gringo Loco defending the Premier Championship against Vikingo, against Speedball Mike Bailey, and Jack Cartwheel. These shows are so much fun to go to. If you are planning on going, I assume some people will be going to Collision that day as well. But if you are in the Toronto area and going to Parkdale Hall, come and say hello, because these shows are awesome to go to.
Yeah, that card sounds kind of nice. I wish I could have seen Gringo this weekend. That was a nice card sound.
Yeah, it sounds pretty nuts. But also a little bit of housekeeping. Next week, we will actually be going live for upNXT on Wednesday, probably like early afternoon, late morning, around then. We'll give an exact time nearer the time, but we won't be able to be recording on Tuesday. So join us on Wednesday on this very feed at Post Wrestling's YouTube channel. But I think we should just dive into this show today. NXT Gold Rush Night 2 from June 27th, 2023, live from the Capitol Wrestling Center. And, well, we've got a big main event coming tonight. Baron Corbin challenging for the NXT Championship. And we see the two people in the main event arriving. Corbin arriving in his $300,000 Porsche, and Mello arriving with Trick Williams, looking pretty fresh as well. But we kick things off with the NXT Women's Championship. Tiffany Stratton taking on Thea Hale. Thea Hale, who's been recently training with Drew Gulak and Charlie Dempsey, and has been put to the grind by those guys, and managing to win this battle royal to challenge Tiffany for the championship. And, well, things start off pretty nicely for Thea as she gets a backslide in early for a 2 count. And then she keeps on going for that Kimura lock, which she's learned from Gulak and Dempsey. Pretty quick start to this match. Gulak and Dempsey then come out to offer support for Thea Hale. And then Thea hits this like springboard coffin drop she's been using and goes for it for the floor. But Tiffany trips the legs, causing her to crash on the ring apron. This allows Stratton to come back with a double stomp to the chest for a 2 count. And then Thea now lands her springboard coffin drop to the floor and gets back in the ring. Stratton hits her with a sit-out choke bomb for a 2. Hale comes back with the chase you stomps, followed by a somersault senton, and then the springboard senton on the mat for a 2 count. Goes for a Kimura lock, but Stratton gets out of it again. Stratton goes for a powerbomb, but Thea counters this into the Kimura lock, this time locking it in. And you see Dempsey is pulling the rope away to stop Stratton from reaching for it. As the referee comes over to kind of admonish Gulak and Dempsey, we actually see Tiffany is tapping out, but the ref is distracted. And then when the ref turns around, Stratton's able to roll Thea up for the 1, 2, 3 and retain the championship. Before we go to the post-match, what did you think of this title match, Pete?
Good match. I was not expecting them to actually have a pretty nice match going on here, but I do like that she's keep trying to get that Kimura locked in. It looks good the way she applies it with the body lock. You know, I'm not sure if I was sold on Thea getting that roll up. I mean, Tiffany getting that roll up like that. It looked kind of soft after the distraction, but I'll take it. I mean, it works toward the way they're going to portray the comeback for the ending of the match. So I'll let you go ahead and talk about that.
Yeah, they've been, like you'd expect Tiffany being the heel in this and the distraction. You'd expect something heelish, but it seems like they've made it quite a conscious effort of not having Stratton cheat to win. Right through that women's championship tournament to a victory and this defense, she's been winning clean, and they've made her look pretty strong. I never buy a roll up like that because I'm like, I can't believe you're surprised for that long that you can't kick out. But it is what it is. I thought the match was pretty good. This is the best Thea Hale has looked so far, especially how young she is. She's 19 or something. It's crazy. And I think she's had this kind of scrappy-do character down really well. But they've been pretty good at just like protecting her in ring. She's been pretty limited in what we've seen. But I thought she looked great here. I liked all her different transitions, trying to lock in that Kimura lock. Stratton, Braden and I keep saying how good this girl is every week, just improving and improving. So I thought this was pretty good and really promising for the future of the women's division if this is what these two can do at such a young age.
Yeah, like you said, the Scrappy Doo kind of like thing she has going on. She's even like taping her moveset around it, so it's really good, man. I'm digging what she's doing.
So after the match, Gulak and Dempsey decide to beat up Duke Hudson, and then we get a returning Mr. Chase. Andre Chase runs out for the save to a huge reaction from the CWC and beats up Gulak and Dempsey. I assume we're setting up for a tag match and maybe some singles matches down the line. But maybe we'll start to question where Thea's loyalties lie after this, because since their training, she has improved, but they also kind of cost her the match here as well. So I'm a bit of a sucker for all the Chase U drama. So I'd like to see where it goes next.
Yeah, I don't want to see Thea go anywhere away from Chase U. She's their mascot. They need her.
Exactly. Yeah, I can't see. You can't turn Thea dark yet. I don't think it's too early for that.
Yeah.
We get a video package for Ilya Dragunov. We've kind of seen these ones before. Just highlights of all the brutality from all his matches he's had, his run-ins with Bron Breakker. And he says, I bleed and bruise like any other man, and I choose to endure conflict, embrace it and become it. And I move forward even if I crawl. I feel an eternal flame that builds inside of me, and I will always be unbeziegar. I think I said that right. But yeah, we've seen these kind of videos before for Ilya, but it does seem like we're going to that Bron Breakker direction, probably for the Great American Bash, which I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, I had to look up what this meant, so I was like, "What is
Unbeziegar?
Yeah. I forgot. Like, didn't he used this before, right?
He
I had to look it up again. Yeah.
What does it mean, B?
Invincible.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's a bunch of different meanings for it.
So we then go to Gallus, Mark Coffey, and Wolfgang, who still haven't heard from Joe Coffey since he was kidnapped and thrown in the trunk of the car by Stax last week. And then they say, right, this week we got to beat Malik Blade and Edris Enofe, and then we can focus on Stax. And then we cut to Malik and Edris, who say, tonight's our night. All our hard work is going to pay off tonight. It's our time. So just setting up these two for the tag match just in a little bit. And then we go to a clip from last week where Dana Brooke is having her knee checked out by the medic backstage when Kalani Jordan, one of the PC latest recruits, comes in and says, Dana, you were an inspiration for me, how you kept on fighting last week, even with the bad knee. And Dana says, well, I see you training all the time, and I can tell that you're a gymnast, and those gymnast skills are really going to help you out there in the ring. And Kalani then says, I don't care what anyone says. You showed something last week, how you fought through. Obviously, I don't know if you're aware of all the Twitter storm last week, but a lot of negativity towards Dana Brooke's match, and Dana kind of acknowledging it in a tweet as well, which can't be easy, seeing all that, having all these people say how awful in ring you are. But they're setting up a match for the future, and this is the first time we've seen Kalani Jordan. So setting up a match for the near future when Dana's knee's better.
Yeah, that was kind of rough last week on Dana.
Yeah.
I mean, not saying that it didn't need some of that criticism, but it was kind of rough. I mean, wrestling fans are really, really mean, so she's got to kind of not look at Twitter so much.
I'd say if Jordan's inspired by Dana Brooke working through that knee last week, I wonder how she feels about Bryan Danielson working 10 minutes and tapping out Okada with a broken arm. Have you seen the picture yet that Brie Bella posted?
Yeah, I'm still amazed that he finished that match, because that's a brutal break.
Like, that looks like a clean just snap
right through the middle.
And like we rewatched that match when we got home, and there's so many times, like every time Okada's going for the Rainmaker, he's pulling on that right arm and everything. It it looked nasty. And the fact that this guy then went and did the press conference and was smiling and answering questions very eloquently, the guy really is the best in the world.
Oh, man. A real warrior, man.
We then go to our tag team championship match. Gallus defending the title against Edris, Enofe, and Malik Blade. Malik hits this beautiful sunset flip over Wolfgang, but Wolfie catches him. Both Edris and Malik have hops. They can jump super high.
Absolutely.
There's a double drop kick from Malik and Edris to Mark and Wolfgang. And then the Shining Wizard from Enofe, followed by a frog splash from Malik for a 2 count. And this is where we see Angel and Umberto on the perch as we go to commercial break. After the break, we see that Gallus have Blade isolated. They're beating him down for quite a while. Malik eventually makes the tag to Enofe, and Blade goes up the top but seems to slip off. Enofe comes right back with a big spine buster for a 2 count. And then Blade and Enofe hit their blockbuster, fireman's carry into the blockbuster double team. And then Blade goes up top with the splash. Enofe follows up with the top rope elbow, but Wolfgang breaks up the pin with the senton. Blade then hits a beautiful looking slingshot, slingshot to the outside, but eats this uppercut. And that's when we see Stax is out there. And it looks like he's setting up to take out Mark Coffey. He charges, and Coffey gets out the way, and Stax drills Enofe with this huge spinning uppercut, which sends him flying into the ring steps. But then Stax looks at him as if it wasn't an accident, picks up Enofe, rolls him into the ring, and this allows Gallus to hit their TKO knee strike finish for the win. And Stax just standing, looking like all of this was meant to happen. But yeah, what did you make of this tag championship match, B?
They were having a pretty good match until this questionable ending on this. I'm still wondering. I was as confused as Booker T was at the end because why? Why would you? What is the purpose of this? Even with the happenings at the end of the show, I'm still confused. Maybe it's because I just want the belts to get off Gallus. Maybe that too.
Yeah. I definitely feel there's a better match in there between these four. I like Edris and Malik a lot. I didn't feel they were quite as spectacular as we've seen them in the past.
Yeah.
Maybe that's due to time and this finish and stuff, but I didn't feel they quite got cooking as much as we've seen them before. And Gallus are pretty hit and miss with me as well. I think it depends maybe on their dance partners sometimes. I have seen some good Gallus matches. I've seen some very dull Gallus matches. And as for the finish, I found it a little weird. Braden and I have kind of been calling that this is probably going to happen, that Stax is the rat, that Stax wants to go from being the underboss to the Don. We do have that segment with Tony D a bit later. But I thought as a way to kind of reveal that, this was a bit of a weird way to do it. Or maybe even if commentary could have at least covered it until the big reveal where maybe, Stax and Tony want to take this title from Gallus. So maybe they're saving Gallus to take the title. But I thought this was a bit anticlimactic as the reveal of Stax being in their pocket.
Yeah, because even Gallus seemed surprised by the whole thing. It was who knew this was going to happen then? I'm still confused. I don't know. Hopefully it plays out better than it looked.
We then go to a tweet from Ava Rain from earlier in the week that says, "We are a family brought together not by blood, but by the roots of a tree. The uncertainty in our paths is apparent, and the tension is too much to ignore. As a family, it's time to talk. And I'm calling a Schism family meeting next week. See you all there." So it's confirmed we're getting the Schism family meeting tonight. We then see Metaphor backstage, made up of Noam Dar, Jakara Jackson, Lash Legend, and Oro Mensah. And Mackenzie brings up to Noam that this is the first time the Heritage Cup, has been defended since you lost them. And Noam said, "Please, Mackenzie, I'm not emotionally ready to talk about it." And Lash says, yeah, let's talk about other things, like let's show off our nails. And all of them have matching kind of nail polish going on and look very nice. Lash says, we need to talk about our win last week. And then Jakara Jackson says, Ronda and Shayna, watch out. So, yeah, kind of confirming that these now unified women's tag team championships will once again be defended across all three brands, which I think makes a whole lot of sense considering the kind of lack of tag teams in the division across the whole company. But kind of teasing, we'll probably get either Ronda and Shayna come down to NXT at some point, or these two going up for a match on whether it be Raw or SmackDown. Mackenzie Mitchell then brings up the loss again, and Oro Mensah shuts her up. And then Mackenzie asks Noam Dar, who's it going to be? Dragon Lee or Nathan Frazer? And Noam just says, Mackenzie Mitchell, you absolutely suck. But I did notice Noam Dar wasn't using crutches today. So maybe he's better from his possible fake injury. What do you make of the call out for Ronda and Shayna here? Do you see them coming to NXT at some point?
I would hope they have them on NXT. I don't think we want to see Lash Legend on on main event TV right now. Let the girls come down and have the match in NXT. They'll protect everybody that way.
We're seeing so much crossover right now, and when you've got people like Rhea Ripley and Seth Rollins coming down to NXT, I like to think 2 years ago, Ronda Rousey coming into NXT, you'd have said absolutely not. Her star has fallen so far, I feel that why not? And obviously coming home for Shayna Baszler as well, who made her name in NXT.
People still love Ronda though. If they announce that she's going to come down, people will just turn it on just to see Ronda though. So
yeah,
hopefully,
and I'm sure the CWC will give her a huge reaction as well.
Absolutely,
they love.
They'll
seeing
make her
anyone.
feel like a star.
They made Natalia feel like a star. You know, no offense, Natalia. Sorry.
No offense.
We then go to the Schisms family meeting. And Ava says that this inattention has led to turmoil, and Joe Gacy asks them to express themselves freely. And Jagger Reed says, look, you brought us in here a year ago and you said you change our lives, but we haven't changed. We've just been helping yours. And we've been together as a team for 18 years, but we're starting to lose trust in you. And you've either lost your way or you're full of crap. And Joe says he owns his mistakes, but to say I never changed your life, that's not true. Before you met me, you, talking to Jagger Reed, wouldn't have said what you said because your best friend didn't let you have a voice, which I thought was a pretty good line because obviously it always used to be Gibson saying everything and kind of Drake mouthing along. Yep. He says, I saved you from obscurity and gave you a new home. Rip Fowler then says, we were in a bad place when we met you. We were beaten up and lost, but you've shown us a new way. But we've started to see cracks. You talked about inclusivity and then exclusivity and then back to inclusivity. It just doesn't add up. Joe says, yes, inclusivity brought us to Ava, and I will never apologize for that. But was there hesitation when I brought you in? You are not in the same form or clothes as when you first joined me. And I see two men ready to take over the world. And that was not the case a year ago. This is when they're then interrupted by the Creeds. And Brutus says, we're fed up of the Schism family affair. Jagger and Rip just say it doesn't concern you. Julius, wearing his glasses, says, shut up, Baldy. It doesn't concern us. Well, it does, because Ava attacked with the loaded mask the other week, which cost us our match. And Julius says, we don't want you here, and you don't want to be here either. So Gacy says that Diamond Mine is a poison, far worse than the Schism. Julius calls them a cancer. And then Gacy sets up a match, Creeds versus Dyad next week. And it's a loser leaves town match. Whichever team loses leaves NXT. What did you make of this segment, B? And what do you make of the stipulation?
I like the segment because hopefully it looks like GYV is going to be splitting away from the Schism. So I hope that loser leaves doesn't mean that, they leave the company. But I'm hoping it just gives one of these guys the call up. I'm not sure if it's time for Diamond Mine yet, but I can see GYV getting the call up right now.
I think so. I think no. They say loser leaves NXT, which normally makes
absolutely.
you need to think it's a call up.
Yeah.
I really hope they've seemed to, since all the asking for their release and stuff. GYV have pretty much been on TV every single week, and they've been putting them in matches and have been shining in these matches. They've been working with a chip on their shoulder. Clearly, they're a great team. They can both talk. They can both go in the ring. I like how this story kind of allows them to shed this gimmick when they go up to the main roster. I think the tag division's getting there on the main roster with Sammy, Kevin, the Usos, Street Profits, New Day when they're healthy again, American Alpha, Alpha Academy, always get that wrong. And I think
same thing,
Pretty Deadly as well. And I think GYV would fit in that mix. I love the Creeds in ring. I think in recent weeks they've kind of exposed their weaknesses in these backstage segments, in these promos, and therefore I don't think they're ready yet for the call up. So I hope this is just the time for GYV to move up, and I'm all for that completely.
Yeah, Julius with the glasses too is kind of like okay.
Or something needs to happen. They need to turn heel or something. They seem really geeky and bland, I think, at the moment, which they're absolute monsters in the ring, but something's not connecting with me currently with their promos. And I put Ivy in there as well.
Totally agree.
We go to a video of Lucian Price and Bronco, and I've forgotten this guy's last name already. Just classic NXT names here. Bronco Nima and Lucian Price. We see videos of them as kids. They say we bonded over football, playing football in the streets, and we built a bond to last. And Lucian says, as long as I have my boy Bronco, it's a wrap. And college came and they split for a bit and they played football, but now they're back together and they're back here to dominate. So we saw them eating Cubanos the other week and now playing football, but showing they look like these two could be a bit of a powerhouse team as well.
They look huge. They got Bronco listed as 6'5", 298. Absolute unit of a man. I haven't tracked down like their college or NFL football playing history yet, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to find it. But these guys work massive. I hope they cook up something good for those that character. But I don't know, man. I'm ready for this. We got a lot of powerhouse tag teams in NXT right now. It's just going to add on to it.
Well, we know we're going to lose a team next week, so these guys can slot right in. Yeah,
absolutely.
Looking forward. We haven't seen Obafemi much recently, but he's someone else again, another big lad on that roster. I'm excited to see a bit more of in the future. But these videos have worked pretty well so far for me in introducing these guys. That they feel real kind of classic vignettes, hyping up the team. Not quite as goofy as the 2.0 vignettes we were having.
It was kind of like Obafemi's videos, like when he was just tossing stuff. It kind of looked like shot in the same like vein of that. So I thought they were like he was gonna pop up. Yeah, these are my boys. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. They can mix these guys together or something. Just make
just powerhouse trios unit.
Just big lads. Just call it big.
We then see Tank, Hank, Axiom, and Scripts. What a mouthful that is. Backstage, Tank and Hank are like, these guys love football. They're going to be our friends. Tank and Hank just want to be friends with everyone. Scripts says, and these kids like grew up on the streets as well. Like, I respect that. That makes you strong. And this is where Frazer comes in holding the Heritage Cup. Axiom says, I'm happy for you. Frazer says, cheers, old friend. And as he walks off, Scripts says to Axiom, I see you have your eyes on that cup. And Axiom says, I am drawn to it. I believe Axiom won that best of 7 series between these two, right? Or best of 3 series. Yeah. So obviously lining himself up for the Heritage Cup and get another big rematch for them. But I'm all for Axiom and Nathan Frazer Part 4 because all their matches have been tremendous so far. We then see Trick and Melo, and they say, Trick says everybody wants the gold, but no one else puts the work in apart from you. Melo says, I'll put the man on a t-shirt and then put it in the rafters because I am him. And this is when Rhea Ripley enters, and she says she's come to send a message. Said Balor showed up last week to handle Judgment Day business, but you helped out Seth. And next time you come in front of us, you become our business. Did you get a chance to see Melo on Raw last night taking on Finn Balor?
I did not see that. I was so still beat from the trip and everything. I slept completely through Raw last night.
I don't blame you at all. But yeah, it was pretty cool seeing Melo on the main roster. I thought he looked like he fitted in. Pretty quick match against Finn, but I like that they're continuing this thread with Melo and Trick kind of being aligned with Seth Rollins. And I do completely expect to have a six-man or at least a tag match down the road. So yeah, which I'm pretty cool with. I've been really digging kind of the cross promotion of NXT in the main roster in recent weeks.
Yep, just keep making these guys look more important every time they cross promote with the main champions too. So just keep doing it.
We then go to our Heritage Cup match. This is rounds rules. It's best of 6 rounds, 6 3-minute rounds, and it's best 2 out of 3 falls. If it ends on a draw, the champion retains. And this week, Dragon Lee has Valentina Feroz in her corner and Nathan Frazer with Ulyssa Leon because they're friends now, I guess.
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
Why not? Reasons. We go to round 1. There's sign of respect from Dragon as he offers his hand to start. Lots of quick roll-ups to start with. They're both ducking each other's quick kicks. Just a very quick start to this and kind of just sussing each other out. Lots of counters. End of round 1. We then go to round 2 where Frazer just comes out the gate really quick. There's a big drop kick. And then Dragon Lee goes up top for a top rope Rana. But Frazer rolls this through to pick up the first fall in round 2. We then go to round 3 where there's this beautiful sling blade from Frazer. And then he goes for a Rana, but Lee cartwheels out of this and hits a huge con hilo to the floor. He gets so much height on this.
Oh, yeah.
And this is when we go to commercial break. We come back from the break and we're halfway through round 4. And this is now where we're seeing Lee is starting to move with a bit more desperation as he's a fall down and these rounds are ticking away. And he hits the deadlift one-arm power bomb. Similar to, Sin Cara used to do, and gets the second fall in the 4th round. We go to round 5, and Lee just comes out like a bat out of hell with his shotgun drop kick. Frazer hits him with the crescent kick, almost knocking him out. Frazer then goes up top, but gets knocked off by Lee, who sets him up for the double stomp to the chest on a draped Frazer. Lee then sets him up in the corner, charges, but Frazer catches him with this awesome-looking over-the-head suplex, just throwing him into the corner. Frazer then goes for the Seth Rollins superplex Falcon Arrow combo, but Dragon counters it into a powerbomb for a 2 count. Frazer then runs the ropes, and Lee misdirects by going the other way and allowing him to hit this crazy roll-up for a great near fall.
So quick.
So fast here. They're now trading roll-ups back and forth. It looks like it's going to be a 3 count, but the ref holds up and points out that Lee's shoulder isn't down, which allows Lee to roll him back. And then Frazer rolls him back again for the 3 count with 1 second left on the clock in round 5. And Nathan Frazer retains. I thought this is the best Heritage Cup match we've seen in NXT so far. I loved this.
Man, that was amazing. Just like the speed of these guys. Even the ending, you would think like the naked eye would think it's a botch, but you couldn't tell me. It made it look more real, because they came right down to the last second on the pin.
I also don't know if that was planned or almost a ref call because they wanted it to be on the 1. So I don't know if it was a ref call where he was like, nope, shoulders up. But as you said, it made it feel more real. And I think in this rounds formula, what I like about it is it feels more sports based. It is rounds matches used to be on World of Sport back in the day. It would be on the same show as like all these other, you know, legitimate sports, and people used to think it was real. When I got into like WWF back in the day, I remember my parents and grandparents be like, "Oh, what's all this fake rubbish? It's not like the real stuff back in the day with giant haystacks and Big Daddy." And you're like, "No, Mom, that was fake too." But I thought they played the round so much better in this than some of the other matches we've seen. I love how each round that ticks away, there's this added level of desperation. And when you've got two guys as quick as this, it makes it so fun to watch. And whereas the break sometimes like just stop the momentum for me, with these two, it's just like pause and then go, pause, go. I love this. I thought it was great. And seeing that we're going to have Axiom and Nathan Frazer going at it, it almost feels like this is our new like cruiserweight championship in a way.
Yeah, like it's its own division. Absolutely. Yeah. But I wouldn't like it. I would like to see a big guy go into the same format because it's all about speed right now. But what happens when Nathan Frazer runs into like someone he can't utilize his speed against, you know? So I don't want to call it the small cruiserweight division right now. Well, let's throw some other challenges in there too.
No, I'd like to see someone like a Damon Kemp in there. With that wrestling style and just countering that, as you said, the smaller, faster guy thing. I agree. Like throw in some other interesting names in there, but I'm kind of starting to get into this Heritage Cup thing, and I think this was definitely the best worked like rounds match we've seen in NXT so far. But if you haven't, go back and watch some of those NXT UK Heritage Cup matches. We do have a best match ever NXT UK with John Siino on our Patreon. I encourage you all to go back and listen to, because there are some hidden gems on that show for sure.
Oh yeah.
We then get a video hyping up. They called it Raw Underground last week, but it's going to be NXT Underground. We get these highlights from Raw Underground during that pandemic era. And I got to say, this is one of the best editing piece of works I've seen, because this made Raw Underground look fucking awesome.
Oh my God. You know, if they want to like have like an actual fight, NXT has the fight pit. I don't have a problem with Underground. Let's just do it, I guess. But if you want to have like a quote unquote shoot fight, put it in a fight pit. Why do you have the gimmick if you're not going to use it?
I think Fight Pit got called up to the main roster along with War Games.
Oh yeah, it did get called up, right?
That's because we then had the they kind of introduced the Iron Survivor as the new gimmick thing, and I think this is replacing Fight Pit, but I think it's going to be more similar in style to the Fight Pit match than the Raw Underground stuff. But I'm kind of looking forward to this. I think they're going to tweak it in certain ways. I do think this is going to work. And
no Omos at the door anymore? What?
I guess not. We need Shane. We need Shane back for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought they made Raw Underground look pretty cool here.
Let's put Commander Aziz at the door now.
Commander Aziz, yeah. We then go to Gable Steveson with Eddie Thorpe, and they're looking at videos of Damon Kemp, who's training. And Steveson says, "You're doing great, but don't let Damon get in your head." Eddie thanks him for his help. We see all these montages of them training, and says, "You know what? It would be an honor if I could have you at ringside for me next week." And Stevenson says, "Absolutely. You can even wave at Damon's parents. I know they'll be watching." So they keep doing these wink and nods that, hey, we're brothers, but we're not going to tell you we're brothers. It leads me to think that Eddie Thorpe is maybe the dumbest person in NXT.
He doesn't watch the product at all.
Steveson is totally going to screw him next week, right?
Absolutely. Well, what is this? What the acting in this already was like kind of turning me. But like it's just two guys in a dark warehouse training, and it's clearly like Stevenson is kind of winking, like he's smirking the entire time he's talking to him. So,
I know his parents are gonna be there.
Yeah, I know.
Wink,
oh man, this is gonna be the slowest screw job ever.
It's like Eddie, come on, man. Like you can't. You've watched wrestling before. No, you know how this is going to turn out.
He has no idea.
But I am like Eddie Thorpe has not done it for me at all so far. But I hope next week is one that kind of turns me. I'm pretty high up on Damon Kemp. I love that style. Just like like amateur wrestling, suplexes, all that. So I'm hoping this works next week with NXT Underground.
Yeah, good luck, Eddie. I hope you don't get your hopes up.
We then go to Wesley. I did have a bit of an issue with my feed at this point, but he's chatting to Miles Bourne when Mustafa Ali comes in and says, look, maybe I had a little bit too much fun last week as the ref. And Wes says, yeah, you need to stick with being a dope wrestler because your refereeing lacks. And Ali says, well, I did call it right down the middle. I was doing fast counts for both of you, and I was doing slow counts for both of you. Tyler Bates in there as well and says, well, if you weren't like pissing around, it would have been a different outcome, and I want a rematch. And Wes is like, whoa, what do you mean it would be a different outcome? This is where my feed cut out momentarily, but it appears we're getting Tyler Bates versus Mustafa Ali next week, and I imagine the winner of this will be facing Wesley for the championship.
Yeah, you didn't miss anything spectacular. It's just there was going back and forth Looney Tunes style about, hey, I helped you both, but I gave you a fast count, I gave you a slow count, so it was pretty much stupid. I didn't understand why we did it.
I'm hoping as well maybe we see Miles Bourne have a title shot as well, just for like a bit of an exhibition match as well. It'd be nice to. I think he's impressed in what we've seen so far in NXT.
Yeah, I don't mind Wes just having a tune-up match. Why not?
Yeah. We then go to Robert Stone, who's looking for Von Wagner, and he finds him just in the corner backstage with his head in his hands. And Stone is like, what are you doing? Come on, we got to go to the ring. And Wagner says, everything my family had to go through, the trauma, I just can't do this right now. And he walks off. So still kind of reeling from that photograph and his story last week. I saw a lot of positivity about that segment last week. I really liked it. What have your thoughts been on this whole Von Wagner journey we've been on since that first episode of 2.0 through to now?
Last week was decent. This week, I'm not so sure why Von was in the corner going through it still. It wasn't the place for that. Can we get this man Dr. Shelby? Can we please?
Yeah, I did think this was a bit of a step back. I thought last week was fantastic, and it's like, hey, you took that step forward. Like character-wise, you took that step forward. You opened up. Why are we going back here? I don't want to see sad Von Wagner. I want to see, babyface with a great X Factor style story, like sob story, and using that and getting this crowd behind him. So I thought this was a bit of a miss, but I have been enjoying the Von Wagner stuff in recent weeks. Yeah,
he shouldn't. Backstage should be limited for him right now, especially after last week's that vignette. He should just be in the ring right now. Every time you see Von from now on, should be him in the ring, redeeming himself.
Yeah. We then go to Kiana James versus Gigi Dolin. They trade some forearms. They tumble to the floor. It's a bit of a messy start, to be quite honest. Kiana then delivers this big forearm on the outside, knocking Gigi down and starts trash talking. Gigi starts to fire up with some clotheslines and a big boot. And then they both hit a clothesline. Both are down. And then Kiana tries to use the bag, but Gigi ducks, allowing her to hit the crucifix bomb for the win. And after the match, Kiana James picks up her handbag, whacks Gigi with it, and hits the DDT and reveals that there are cans of paint in the bag and pours paint all over Gigi. But what did you make of this, B?
It was a rough match. I don't know. I don't know about this one. I love Gigi. The after the match beatdown was kind of weird too with the paint. Does the paint symbolize something? Did I miss something with NXT the last couple weeks?
There was the stuff about, wasn't there, like where Gigi's home was? There's a bunch of graffiti and stuff, and Kiana had the line of, "That's a waste of good real estate." So maybe she's graffitiing her. But there's some women on another show doing that right now. So let's use cans of paint instead.
Way to save that, because this made no sense besides ruining the ring canvas. Like, I don't know. But the match was, it was rough to get through. It was good to get him out of the ring, pretty much.
Yeah, I really wasn't impressed here. I thought it was pretty messy and sloppy at points. Gigi at times looks like she's moving in slow motion, and we've seen her be decent before, but like there are a lot of misses, I find, and I do feel a lot of the less experienced women on the roster are kind of surpassing her right now. Kiana James has impressed me in matches, but I don't think this match connected at all. I don't think the story's really been connecting at all. Both, I felt, kind of had a bit of a whimper of the end of their last feud. They had long feuds with JC. They had long feuds with, Fallon and the Brooks Jensen lads. And they kind of just ended, and they're both looking for something to do. This isn't really working for me, these two. And it looks like it's continuing with this paint thing.
Yeah, why does every person that feuds with Gigi have to go so personal with her?
I know.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Well, I have found Gigi's kind of been more engaging since she's kind of been telling her story a bit more. Yeah. And therefore it is fuel for a heel. But just this didn't work.
Yeah.
RYN is in the chat is saying that Gigi Dolin is carry with the paint all over her. So maybe we'll see her just, kill everyone next week.
I'll take it.
Yeah. Shout out Stephen King. We go to Tony D'Angelo in prison, and it's visitation hours, but it's not Stacks that comes in. It's Joe Coffey with a load of sweaty hair in his face. And Tony goes, "How the hell did you get on my visitation list?" And Joe says, "Let's just say I know people too." And Tony's, "Funny guy, huh? I thought Stacks gave you a free ride somewhere." And Joe says, "Things aren't as they seem, and a lot has changed since you got locked up." And Tony says, "Well, you and your boys are rats, and Stacks will handle things." And Joe goes, "Oh, yeah, Stacks has it handled. The underboss has ambition. Stacks sold you out. You don't believe me? Have a listen for yourself." He puts out his phone, and it's the kind of the rumblings in the trunk from last week. And Stacks says, "This could have been worse, but do what I tell you, and things will work out for the Gallus boys. Just lay low for a week. There's a new Don on the streets. And things aren't quite what they seem, eh, Tony boy?" So, according to the Gallus lads, and looking at his actions from earlier, Stacks has turned on the Don.
Yeah. First of all, Tony D in jail is one of the greatest scenes I've ever seen in my life. Second of all, why did we need... Okay, Stacks is the rat, right? But he clearly didn't do anything that dastardly besides help Gallus win the titles, which Tony could have just put that together without him showing the... I don't know if Tony's going to get NXT in jail, though. So I'm not sure if you found out what happened tonight. So, yeah, I guess it makes sense. I don't know. It was still weird way in that match and set this up for later on. It was weird.
So, according to Chris Leone in the chat, he says, "The streets are saying it could be a double swerve and Stacks is playing Gallus." That does make a lot of sense. I mean, Stacks has kind of put a lot of time into trying to... Well, we do know that Tony does have Peacock in the prison.
Cool.
So maybe you could have Stacks deliberately doing all this stuff, like the board with all the kind of suspects, just to throw Tony. But it also, I think, maybe does make more sense that this is a play to get Tony out of jail, to maybe swerve them, and therefore costing Edris and Malik is a way to have them still be champs. Perhaps I see it maybe more likely going that way. And although Tony and Stacks are baby faces now, they are also murderers, so like they can take out.
They do kill people.
They do kill people. So, so yeah, it's not too surprising they took out Edris and Malik earlier. But yeah, NXT is ridiculous, and I love it.
I love NXT. Oh, man.
We then have Vic plug Up Next, the Snapchat show, and where we see Roxanne Perez talking, and she's saying, she reads a tweet from Blair Davenport saying, "What's it like to never feel safe wherever you go?" And Blair Davenport then attacks her. I don't know. I don't remember this happening on Up Next. And I've been on pretty much every show, but we're continuing this feud, and it has been confirmed that next week we are getting Blair Davenport versus Roxanne Perez, which I am looking forward to. These are two of the better women in the division, so I think this could be pretty good.
Yeah.
And I do like how NXT, even though it's Snapchat taking our name, I do like how they use kind of TikTok and Snapchat and things like that to just set up different matches.
Yeah, WWE and NXT are very, very bold using Snapchat because it's kind of a dying social media source. So
there are still people that use it, though. I find it really weird. Like I'll match with someone or whatever, and they'll be like, "Hey, do you want to chat on Snapchat?" I'm like, "No."
Who wants to?
I don't.
Yeah, more power to him. Keep it alive, WWE.
I'll message you on Instagram, and then I can check out your pictures. You know? Like,
yeah,
that's the way to do it. That's the way to do it.
Super weird.
We then go to JC Jane, who's in the Hale women's locker room, and she's chatting about Lyra Valkyria. She said she thinks she owns a place, and who blindsides someone when they arrive in a building? And the girl's saying, "Well, yeah, you should tell her off." She goes, "Yeah, if I see her tonight, I'll tell her to put her wings on and fly back to Europe and tell her that she peaked at Battleground." And obviously, Lyra's just stood behind her the whole time. She turns around, Lyra punches her in the face and says, "I told you I don't play games." And Rhea Ripley then walks in and goes, "Yeah, Lyra is a badass." So Rhea Ripley just showing up repeatedly. What are we setting up here? Is Rhea going to have a match in NXT soon?
I don't know. I think Rhea was just hanging out in the locker room watching the happenings, you know? I like to think Rhea was just sitting off in the corner watching it. But no, maybe she's going to do some Judgment Day recruiting. Who knows?
Lyra Valkyria to the Judgment Day?
Maybe. Who knows?
I mean, she
does
have
be
the
reason.
wings like the Titantron, doesn't she?
Absolutely. You know, Rhea might need her another woman to go with some tag belts or something.
Bird lady, like to fly to London this weekend for Dom's big match.
Yeah, you know, a little interference. You know, why not?
We then see Dyad and Ava backstage, and Dyad are mad that Joe Gacy put their careers up on the line. They say, "What was he thinking? Joe making decisions for us and putting our careers on the line." Ava says, "Trust Joe. He always has a plan." And they go, "He better have a plan or we will." How about, lads, you all come up with plans? There we go.
How about you just turn on them? Just turn on them.
Yeah. So next week, we've got Dyads versus Creeds and Loser Leaves NXT. Tyler Bate versus Mustafa Ali. Roxanne Perez versus Blair Davenport. And NXT Underground, Eddie Thorpe versus Damon Kemp. Looks like a pretty good show to me with those 4 matches announced there. Should be pretty good. And then we go to the NXT Championship match. Carmelo Hayes taking on Baron Corbin. And we've been giving old Barry a lot of shit in recent weeks for his look, his music, his entrance, his pretty much everything. But the Lone Wolf is back. He comes out to his... I don't think it was exactly his old NXT music, but it was very similar to it. It was like
as close as they could get.
A rip on his old music. Similar lighting to he used to have. The pose with the lights coming up with his arms out. He's in kind of long leather pants, got a Lone Wolf cut-off sleeve T-shirt on. Automatically just looked and felt so much better. I thought he looked great here.
Absolutely. I'm just happy he's not in underwear again. That was some of the roughest things I've ever seen Baron Corbin wear. No more Happy Corbin music. No more joking around. The dark lights. He's got the entrance lights when they're turning on every time he takes a step forward. Almost close to the Lone Wolf theme song, but I'll take it. That song's too awesome for them to leave back behind. Hopefully we get it again, but yeah, he looks 10 times better than he has in recent weeks.
Burn the ships.
Burn the damn ships.
Do you think this was kind of a deliberate move, having him look like absolute dog shit the last few weeks, so this was a bit more impactful this week?
Yeah, I mean,
this character,
I can see that as a strategy because he seemed more important looking like he did tonight. So yeah, that could be a good strategy.
I gotta say, it just the presentation, it automatically made me think, have a bit of doubt. I went,
right.
Oh, they might be doing this here. He might have that upset over Carmelo Hayes, and it might be because we saw it with Ziggler and Breaker back in the day, didn't we? Where it was like a month-long title reign and he eventually gets it back. It had me questioning, whereas the last few weeks where he was wrestling in his underwear, absolutely not. But I did think he looked so much better here. Well, let's go to the match. Corbin goes for an end of days early, but Melo flips out of it and hits a code breaker, goes up top and flies with a splash to the outside. Melo then climbs the barricade and jumps off, but Corbin moves. Melo rolls through, and then he eats this big boot from Corbin, and this then allows Corbin to take over. He's hitting like the hammer and anvil, elbows to the neck, and followed by the classic Baron Corbin rear chin lock. You gotta love that. Melo comes back with a drop kick and an enziguri, springboard clothesline from Melo, and then gets caught with a big backbreaker from Corbin, and then Corbin rips his top off, meaning business. There's a frog splash from Hayes. Melo starts delivering some right hands, and then a pump kick sending Corbin to the outside. As Corbin's climbing back in, Melo hits him with the fadeaway, the kind of reverse leg drop to the back of the neck. There's then a reverse springboard DDT for a 2 count, which kind of looked like he sort of messed it up, but I actually thought it looked kind of awesome because of that.
It did look cool, right? It did, because he overshot like the springboard, but like the way he was holding on to his head, it kind of made it look more cool.
He like landed on his back and twisted his arm around, delivering his DDT. I thought it looked really, really good, actually. And then Corbin goes for a choke slam, but Melo rolls through. And then Corbin delivers, which I haven't really seen him do this much, this really nice looking Death Valley driver, kind of similar to the Sean Spears, where you kind of hold the neck a bit more on the way down. Thought it looked really good. Then hits the chokeslam backbreaker for a near fall. Melo then dodges Corbin on the outside, causing Corbin to crash against the steps. Melo jumps off the apron, but gets caught, and Corbin powerbombs him onto the announce table. I am the table right here. But then throws him into the ring, breaking the 10 count. Goes for a deep 6, but Melo counters it, but then runs right into a huge deep 6, spinning him around. This looked great. 1, 2, Melo kicks out. Corbin sets up for the end of days. Melo rolls through, delivers the super kick, hits a slingshot DDT to the apron, and then nothing but net. 1, 2, 3, and still Carmelo Hayes retains the NXT Championship.
Good match. I love when Melo does his championship entrances and he shows the retired jerseys hanging from the Raptors because it's the coolest shit in wrestling right now. Melo can have a good match with just about anybody. He's one of those guys in WWE now who's just like, oh, yeah, it's going to be a good match. He's like the Seth Rollins and the Kevin Owens and Sami. He's like, this is going to be good. He made Corbin's offense look amazing.
Yeah.
He bumped all around for Corbin. Pretty good match tonight. I really liked it.
Yeah, I did too. I thought both looked really good here. I understand all the criticisms of Baron Corbin, and I do have them too. But I don't think the guy. A lot of people say he can't wrestle. I don't think that's true. I think he can have a good match. I think he has had some good matches in the past, but it definitely depends who he's against. And you're 100% right. I thought Melo made him look awesome here. Oh, yeah. I thought that deep 6, that just the amount of rotations on that looked great. I think this presentation of Corbin's so much better. I do think it's I think it's too late for him, unfortunately. I don't think anyone's really going to take him seriously at this point.
Yeah.
But taking this character back to the main roster, it is going to help him. But another solid win for Melo.
Yeah.
And who do you see being the next big challenger?
You know, in NXT right now, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he can get him doing more of a next crossover thing might be more likely, but NXT, nobody has the steam behind him right now, I don't think. Unless Axiom takes a break from the Heritage Cup journey and tries to jump over to the championship.
Yeah, I see Ilya once he's finished with the Bron Breakker feud.
Yeah, Ilya, of course.
I see him being a challenger. Have we done Dijak Melo?
I think so.
I
don't think Melo had the belt at that time. Did we?
Yeah,
I think so.
We had Dijak Wesley for sure. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because that could be an option.
Right.
Dijak maybe. But yeah, we've got Great American Bash as the next thing, and it doesn't seem like we have an opponent because I fully expect them to be doing Bron and Ilya at that one. But yeah, Melo don't miss. He's been fantastic recently, and
not at all.
I think the amount they're having him kind of show up on Raw at the moment, I could totally see maybe this not being the longest reign because I do feel him and Trick as a unit will be probably moving up pretty soon. This show, the overrun is normally about 8 minutes. Went about 15 this week. Which always screws up our 10:15 start time. But I kind of switched off, but missed that there was a little segment with Bron Breakker right at the end. If you want to fill us in, B.
Well, Bron Breakker just stormed out of the I think whose office was that? I'm not sure whose office it was, but he stormed out saying everybody will find out next week. And so I'm not sure what Bron's cooking up, but it wasn't really much. The last second of the overrun, of course, they had to get that in there.
Yeah. But overall, I enjoyed the show. I was pretty low on, was it last week's show I found was underwhelming?
Yeah.
The Seth Bron match was really fun last week, but I found the body of the show a little underwhelming last week. But I thought this week was pretty strong. Apart from really Gigi and Kiana, I kind of enjoyed the whole thing. And return of Lone Wolf.
Yeah, a hot open with Tiff and Thea. Even stronger close. Good week for me.
So that's what we thought. Let's go over to the Poison Rana Facebook group to see what you guys thought. We always post our feedback on our Poison Rana group. So if you haven't signed up, please do. It's free. Go. What are you waiting for? Do you have feedback open there, B?
I'm opening it up now. If you can kick it off.
Well, I'll start with the champ, the reigning defending BDE Championship, who took his title overseas this weekend and successfully defended it in maybe our hardest test yet. I don't know if this guy can be beaten. But we go to Fire Frank, who says, "Say it ain't so, Stacks. The Tiff was fun. Welcome home, Mr. Chase. Gable and Eddie make Ricochet look like an Emmy Award winner. Frazer versus Lee was a good one. And the tease of Axiom being interested in the cup he may have won in a former life. Unfortunately for Barry Corbin, the only ship that burnt was the ship from Raw to NXT, but at least he got rid of the terrible gear and music. Pop for the old song and entrance for sure, and the match was fun due to the hot crowd. Side note, thanks to everyone I interacted with this past weekend in my first ever trip to Toronto for Forbidden Pour, and nothing better than the largest ever gathering of BSK. And finally meeting so many for the first time in person, such as Arman Neal, Maddie B, Hansi, Jesse from the Six, Andrew McDonald, Brewdog, Big Tom, B Detroit, Eric and Dan, among many, many others. And getting to chat with Eric about 2006 ECW while he served as our human GPS and listen to his golden tones belt out I Walk Alone was a true highlight. Well as Brandon giving a fist bump to his boy Tanahashi and sharing BSK house with B, Brandon, and Siino. P.S. Speaking of Eric, he told me in confidence he's going to read excerpts from that Vince book he won on Sunday anytime he's on the air from now on and harp the righteous theme. Well, thank you very much, Frank.
Great feedback, Frank. Yeah. Got it. I can't wait for What Up Though this week so I can talk about Eric's speed walking and GPS skills. He's pretty good. We got Shiny says pretty good show tonight. Fun opener between Tiff and Thea. Both ladies worked well together, and Tia shows that Tiffany is not the only one that has tons of upside. Tag match was good. Please, someone get the straps off Gallus quickly. Dragon Lee and Nathan Frazer had a banger at the Heritage Cup match, and Axiom T's going after the cup. Yes, please. He's kind of just recapping the whole damn show. I'm intrigued by a loser leaves the town by the Dyad and the Creeds. Are the former GYV out of here? Or the Creeds moving up? Kia and Gigi had a decent match. Okay. And was glad to see Gigi get the win. She had a lot more reps though. Rhea Ripley back to NXT with no dime, missed opportunity. Definitely happy to see her return. The Lone Roof, Corbin and Melo put on a heck of a main event. Definitely the best Corbin he's looking forever. What crawled up Braun's butt and died? Tune in for next week to find out. That's what I was telling you about Braun. He stormed out of HBK's office.
Got you. And finally, we go to Magan, who says, so long, happy bum-ass Corbin. Baron Corbin turning back the clock as the Lone Wolf was a great surprise, and he arguably put on the best match he's had in a while. It doesn't suck that it was against Melo. The Heritage Cup match ruled. The Stacks D'Angelo mob story took a rather strange turn. Andre Chase came back to class. Rhea stopped by for a warning, and Bron Breakker has got a foot out the door to a possible call-up. The loser leaves town tag match next week and go either way, with the tide potential real-life release hanging over it like the sword of Damocles. The Creed boys have been so ready for the next step for the past year. Gold Rush was a gold mine of potential. I bet Melo Balor will be the main event in suburban Austin for the Great American Bash. Since Corbin and Ciampa got their best themes back, can Johnny Wrestling get his best one back? Oh, man brings up a good point there. With this Judgment Day Melo thing happening, maybe it's a way to have Balor, Priest, or Dom challenge for the NXT title.
Yeah. Why not have Dom do it?
Yeah. That would be awesome, actually. I think Dom's got so much heat right now. And
he should beat Cody and then win the NXT belt. Why not?
Fuck it. Book it.
Let's go.
But yeah, everyone seems kind of on board with us, pretty positive of this week's show. B, do you mind if I keep you for a couple of minutes just to maybe preview Money in the Bank?
Sure, why not? Sure.
Wrestling never stops. It won't let us.
It won't stop.
It won't let us have a break at all.
Absolutely not.
We've got Money in the Bank taking place this weekend in London. Well, I would say I'm kind of gutted I can't be there, but as I said, a lot of wrestling. Let's start with the IC title match: Gunther versus Matt Riddle. I think this should be fantastic. I've seen some of their matches in progress back in the day. They do have pretty good chemistry, but I don't see anyone but Gunther winning this.
Yeah, it's a good time to get some shine back on Matt Riddle from him being out for so long. I guess people must have forgot that he can actually go in the ring. So Gunther's going to pull out a banger with Matt Riddle. I'm not worried about this at all. Yeah,
Gunther's someone that really doesn't miss as well, so I think this will be pretty great. I always wonder, status of Randy Orton, because that could be a fun, if Gunther wins and then there's a beatdown, it would be kind of nice to see Randy come back if he's ready, but the injury sounded pretty serious, right?
Yeah, that could set up Gunther Orton, which would be good too.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And some tag matches against Imperium as well would be nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've got the Women's Tag Team Championship, Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler versus Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. I think champs retain here.
Yeah, of course. I don't know. Didn't Liv have to relinquish the belts the last time?
I think didn't. Did they relinquish, or did Raquel just have a new partner and then lose or something? I
think that's what happened. I think they gave her
Shotzi or something, wasn't it?
No, I think it was Lita, right?
I have no idea.
One of the legends? I'm sorry. The women's tag team belts kind of escape me sometimes, guys. Yeah. You got to excuse me.
We've got Seth freaking Rollins versus Finn Balor for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Seth, of course. But like I said, the same thing with Riddle. people must have forgot. Finn could put on a banger, and that crowd is going to be going crazy for this match. So why not?
Oh, they'll be super pumped for Balor for sure.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And Seth. I think this crowd would be pretty awesome for that.
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes versus Dominic Mysterio. You going with your boy Dom?
I'm hoping Dom gets the W. Even though Cody does not need to lose this match, I'm hoping Shenanigans gets Dom the W. Who knows? Rhea Ripley does something, and maybe we get a Brandy sighting. Who knows? But please let Dom get this W. I need this.
Sure, why not? Let's go, Dom. Come on.
Yes, I'm turning them.
I was about to be sensible, and I'm like, nah, let's go,
I'm turning them one by one, ladies and gentlemen.
We've then got Zelina Vega versus Becky Lynch versus Zoe Stark versus Bayley versus Io Sky versus Trish Stratus for the Money in the Bank Women's Championship. Money in the Bank ladder match for the Women's Championship match contract. I think this might be the most interesting lineup they've had for a women's Money in the Bank. I think there's a lot of directions you can go with. You've got obviously Trish working her way in there. You could totally have Trish holding this Money in the Bank. Similarly, I could see Zoe holding it and Trish wanting to use it on behalf of her or something like that. You've got tension between Bayley and Io. I don't really know which. I just don't think Zelina Vega, basically. Unfortunately,
it's a lot of directions. But this Money in the Bank, this women's Money in the Bank is going to sprout off so many different feuds. But are we saying that Zoe Stark is Trish Stratus's Luchasaurus right now? Is she?
Pretty much, yeah.
So is she gonna win that? I can see Zoe winning the briefcase and kind of giving it to Trish, right. And say it's like she paying homage. But one of those two, either Io Sky or Trish Stratus should walk away with that briefcase.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I can really see the London crowd being really behind Io for this as well. Bayley also in London, that crowd love Bayley. They love singing that song for her, even though she's a heel. I'm actually really looking forward to this, and I don't think I've ever been particularly interested in the women's Money in the Bank, but there's definitely a lot of stories you can have coming out of this. And Fire Frank confirmed in the chat that they did relinquish the tag team championships, and I believe him because he knows everything.
Yeah.
We then have our men's Money in the Bank ladder match: Ricochet versus Shinsuke Nakamura versus LA Knight versus Santos Escobar versus Butch versus Damian Priest versus Logan Paul.
And just like the women's match, this is going to sprout off a lot of different stories.
Yeah.
But I can't put my finger on who's going to win this one, though. This one's even harder than the women's. I like to say LA Knight, but I like to say Escobar. But Shinsuke has a good, he can actually hold on to this thing. He hasn't won the Money in the Bank. He's won the Rumble, right?
That's right.
Yeah, so maybe Shinsuke, maybe Butch, who knows? But more than likely LA Knight, because he's on fire right now. The crowd loves him, so I can see him putting it on him.
He is on fire. It is also, they've said this can be for any of the men's championships. So LA Knight is SmackDown, I believe, which puts him with Roman, but also puts him with Theory. So it could be LA Knight maybe becoming US champion, which it always seems less than, right? Going for a lower title.
Yeah.
I think Logan Paul cashing in on Seth Rollins, possibly even on this night, is a real possibility. Yeah. And I think Damian Priest is interesting as well. I think he's someone who seems to be having a lot behind him. I think people enjoy him. I think the Bad Bunny match definitely it was similar to what the Johnny Knoxville match did for Sammy. I think putting on a match like that with the celebrity, it kind of goes, all right, Priest, you're good for life, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think with the inner turmoil potentially of the Judgment Day, having jealousy between Finn and Priest, with Priest holding it, that's definitely a possibility. I don't see Ricochet, Nakamura, Santos, or Butch, but I'd love to see LA Knight. But I think Logan Paul is probably the direction they're going to go with
I
this.
can't see Logan Paul walking away
can't?
with this briefcase. No, I think he's there for a spot or two, and I'm not mad at that at all. I'm not. That's not a slight on him. I'm happy for him coming in there and taking those spots or two. But I don't think he's going to walk away with that briefcase. No.
You don't see him doing his podcast with this briefcase just on the set the whole time, and
Yeah, no, that could happen, but I don't know. I think we need it. It's going to help someone take off, So LA Knight, I can see him using this to really take off into superstardom. Like, he's already got that buzz going now. He's like a hot T-shirt away from being the man in WWE. So, yeah.
And then we've got the Bloodline Civil War tag team match. Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa taking on the Usos.
Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa wins this match, of course. Either that or Solo Sikoa eats the pin for the Usos to win. But, of course, Roman wins. Come on. Come on. What?
Jay pins Roman. Come on.
Yeah. But all the matches before that are going to be good, and that crowd's going to be fired up. It'll be too much right for them to let everybody go home happy. Roman's got to rub it in everybody's face in London too. Okay, so Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa with the W.
What do you see Roman's SummerSlam match being? Do you see it being one of these guys? Do you see it being an Uso?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, they'll be ridiculously over here, crazy over here in Detroit. That's going to be
In which case, shouldn't they win this?
They don't exactly need to win for them to still set that up, Because think about it. Every time we think they should do something in this storyline, in this particular storyline, WWE, they don't do it, and we're still sucked into it like this. So who knows, man?
I think Jay gets the pin. It's more likely going to be on Solo, but
I'll take that.
It kind of to hype up SummerSlam, it should be on Roman, but he's not been pinned since Baron Corbin, right?
Really?
Yeah, Baron Corbin was the last person to pin Roman Reigns.
Well, look at Baron.
But yeah, what's your excitement level for Money in the Bank?
I'm excited as I am for any wrestling show at this point because I've seen so much wrestling in the last 2 weeks. I know what stuff is going to be good. I'm excited for the Money in the Bank matches. The actual ladder matches are going to be really good. The women's and the men's are going to be really good. And Gunther and Matt Riddle too. I
think the show looks really strong. I really don't think WWE have missed on their pay-per-views in recent times. I think you're going to have an incredibly hot crowd. But I am 100% feeling wrestling burnout after this last weekend. So I think if you presented this to me in 2 weeks' time, I'd be way more up for it than I am now. But I do think it's going to be a very strong show. Yeah. And I need to start getting hyped for Detroit. I'll be seeing you there, B.
It never stops.
It never stops
at all. Hopefully, I get to drag you guys to GCW the same weekend, so it's never going to stop.
I want just 1 year, just the whole wrestling world collectively to just go, we're taking a month off.
No, absolutely not. What are you talking about? No. You got to watch the Tag League. You got to watch GCW. You've got to watch Impact. Jesus. I'm going, as soon as we get done with SummerSlam, I'm going to see Slammiversary in Windsor. Like, it's never, ever going to stop, Davey.
You've got the G1 coming up.
The G1's coming up. Of course. Wrestling is going to run our lives forever.
Well, B, thank you so much for joining me today, being my partner in crime. It was so awesome hanging out with you all weekend, and can't wait to do it all again in Detroit. We need to rest those vocals. I'm going on vocal rest for the next... Who am I kidding? I'm going to Dynamite tomorrow. After this week, I'm going on vocal rest because we need to prepare for Sid Gold's piano bar.
Absolutely. I'm going to make sure that same guy is going to be playing that night too.
Do you think I can clue him up and just send him some sheet music for, a bit of Kingdom, a bit of Metalingus?
I don't know, man. He was smooth enough that he probably could play it on the spot. He was playing everything else,
He was. I want piano wrestling karaoke in Detroit. That would kill.
the piano acoustic version of Kingdom is going to sound amazing.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. And just learn the opening to Roman's theme from Mania this year, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah. That, absolutely beautiful. Get the chorus too. Let's go.
Well, B, I'm gonna go to bed now and rest because I've got to watch Vengeance tomorrow morning for the Patreon.
I'm gonna watch Vengeance and type my feedback for that show. Absolutely. So.
Love it. Thank you very much. B, where can our lovely listeners find you? You
can follow me on Facebook at the Brian Tannehill, and you can follow me on Instagram at Cool Game Big B. You can see all the pictures and videos and things from this weekend that we was up to over in Toronto. And you can listen to me on the Poisonrana feed for What Up Doe and anything else that you can probably search me and find me on any other shows I was on Poisonrana too. So yeah, looking hanging out with everybody that follows me. I'll follow back. Whatever, man. Let's do it.
You can follow me at Davie Portman on Instagram and Twitter, and follow us at Poisonrana Pod. Go check out all our stories and photos from this last weekend. It was ridiculous. I hope as many of you as possible can join us next time we do something like this. But thank you. Goodbye. Take care. Be safe. Ahoy.
First time in a long time, but back like I never left. Taking these things as it comes, you know me, I don't read ahead. Watch me burn down everything, BDE on the TV set. When I'm in control on the road, you can never really know what's up next.